So first up, let's talk about the big game, the huge game that everyone wants to see, or at least Zelda fans, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. So I do think The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 will be at this next Nintendo Direct, but I don't think it's going to be in the way that a lot of us are thinking. If we take the Nintendo momentum theory and apply it to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 and how Nintendo will be marketing this game and is marketing it so far, we can tell what they're going to do. Nintendo so far has been doing these little teases here and there, nothing too big. The footage so far has sparked speculation on what happened to the Master Sword, what happened to Zelda, what's Link's arm, and what's going on with the sky places. I don't know why I said it like that. The footage sparked speculation on what's going on with the Master Sword, what happened to Zelda, what's with Link's arm, and so on. The release date for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 is in spring of 2023, so that March or April is most likely gonna be that release date. The length of time between now and spring is very important here because that dictates what the trailers are gonna be and what the promotion for that game is gonna be. As you get closer to a release date, bigger and bigger promotions happen for these games. I think because we have so much time until spring, we will get another trailer that teases us and gives us more to ponder on what the heck we just saw. I think that's as far as Nintendo's gonna go, at least for the next Nintendo Direct. If you guys disagree with me, tell me in the comment section, but that's what I personally think. Because it's clear that Nintendo is using these Nintendo Directs to solely focus on one game to show huge gameplay for their tentpole games. I think The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 might just be considered a tentpole game, right? So I think 1 month before the release of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, we'll probably get a Nintendo Direct focused on the gameplay for Breath of the Wild 2. Just like we had with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and just like we had with Splatoon 3 recently. Which, by the way, I do have my thoughts on Splatoon 3's Nintendo Direct as a new player, so if you're curious on that perspective, click the top right corner. I think up until the 1 month before the Nintendo Direct for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, I think we're going to continue to get those trailers that make us ponder on what we saw. But what about other Zelda games? Because the Zelda ports are still rumored, people are still saying they're coming, and they're supposedly coming according to these Nintendo leakers who have inside knowledge. Well, personally, I think Nintendo could release these in 2023 within that first half, or potentially during this holiday season, one of the two. Now, if we don't see them at that Nintendo Direct, which should be in September or October, I think we should just give up on the Zelda ports for now. That is my personal thoughts and feelings on this, because if Nintendo is holding back Twilight Princess and Wind Waker ports to find a spot for them, when there really isn't a lot of Nintendo Switch games releasing, 2023 would be a spot to fit them in. The next Nintendo Direct should set up 2023, right? Or at least the first half. So if Nintendo is planning the Nintendo Direct and planning out their year and what's going to be in this spot in this month and so on, you would think they would fit that into there. They wouldn't keep on holding on to the game and keep trying to find a spot. They would plan ahead. Plus, it's not like it's going to take a long time to make them, so most likely if these even exist, they're already done and Nintendo's just waiting for the perfect spot. And personally, if I were Nintendo, I would be looking at my lineup of 2022 and say, okay, we already have enough games for 2022, let's place these games somewhere in the middle mark to hold players over until Breath of the Wild 2. Now, for those who say, we don't need these Zelda ports, or I don't want these Zelda ports, or I don't even want to have them on the Nintendo Switch, I have them on the Wii U, or the GameCube, or the PC, or just emulate them. Or even if you yourself have been told, just emulate them, or play them on the Wii, right? I'm sure you probably have been told that, because I have. Click the top right corner for that video because I replied to all of those and why we need them on the Nintendo Switch. And moving on, we have Metroid Prime 4, and this is a pretty big one. Kind of a tough one to apply to the Nintendo momentum theory as well, but here it goes, we're gonna try. So let's assume Nintendo has a Donkey Kong game coming up in 2023 in the first half. The rumors stretch back way back to like 2 or 3 years, so most likely if this game even exists, it's probably either near done or already done. So let's say they are true and it is nearly done. This Donkey Kong game would be in the first half in my opinion. Let's say the Zelda games are actually real and they're going to be coming also in the first half of 2023. Let's also say that Kid Icarus rumored game is also going to be hitting the Nintendo Switch, and maybe even throw in some indie games and third-party games, and the first half is pretty good. Maybe we even get a new Star Fox game as well. That is also another rumor. And then after all those games are released, we have a Nintendo Direct that sets up the rest of 2023, at least up until I would say maybe fall. I think that E3 2023 will set up the first half of 2024. And I think that's where the next trailer for Metroid Prime 4 is going to be. I don't think it's going to be at the next Nintendo Direct. I think we are way off for that. Again, looking back at what Nintendo does in the past, if I recall, there was a February Nintendo Direct last year, so I think we're going to have that again this year. I don't think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be there either. I think it's going to be at that E3 Nintendo Direct, because remember, Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out before June. So they're not going to have a huge blowout well at E3 because the game is already going to release. So what other big game is coming up that Nintendo has been working on? Metroid Prime 4. I think there's going to be a huge focus on Metroid Prime 4, and if not, then I'm going to wonder what the heck Nintendo is doing. Now, the big tentpole game for 2023 at E3 could also be revealed at one of these Nintendo Directs in February or the next Nintendo Direct. We got to keep that in mind, because remember, we don't know what Nintendo's 2023 is. We can just speculate on that. But yeah, as far as Metroid Prime 4 goes, I don't think it's going to be at the next Nintendo Direct. But here's a question: what about DLC for games that are already released or are going to be releasing very, very soon, like Splatoon 3? Because we have new games with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and Splatoon 3. I don't know why I can't talk today, but you guys get what I mean. I also think that the next DLC course for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is going to be shown as well at the next Nintendo Direct. Now, some may say that is a little bit too soon, but in my gut feeling, deep down, I think it's going to happen. But we also do have to remember, when it comes to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in the DLC Wave 3, we have to remember that Wave 2 was also released in trailer form on the Nintendo channel. So just keep that in the back of your mind when you think about when the next DLC course is going to happen, because I know people are going to be searching for that. And also keep in mind that last time when there was a DLC course, there was also a maintenance right before, so keep on the lookout for maintenance for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because that can be a sign that the DLC course is going to be upcoming. Now, as far as Pokemon Scarlet goes, I don't think we're going to be getting a Pokemon Scarlet and Violet trailer in this Nintendo Direct. It seems that Game Freak has a different plan from what Nintendo does. I think what Game Freak has been doing for the past Pokemon games is that they're going to be showing it in their own thing, the Pokemon Presents. Now, third-party games like Harvestella are releasing on November 4th, so I think we will get another trailer for that game, which is a game that I am highly interested in, so I hope my videos do well so I can actually get that game and review that game and tell my thoughts on that game for you guys, and maybe even stream it. We also have another RPG that's coming out with Dragon Quest Treasures, which should get another new trailer. We don't really know too much on that game. There was some things here and there in article form, but not that much. Minecraft Legends is also a 2023 game as well, so another trailer for that and explaining more on what the heck is going on with that game, because it's an open world game, I think, if I recall. Mario plus Rabbids, which looks fantastic. I wish Nintendo would do more games with other companies like this. Like, let's just put this Nintendo Direct on hold and let me just say something real quick. Nintendo needs to partner up with Square Enix, and they need to do a sequel to the Super Mario and the Legend of the Seven Stars. We need a sequel or a game like that. You partnered up with Ubisoft, why can't you partner up with Square Enix and make a sequel to that game? I mean, come on. It doesn't even have to be called the same thing. It doesn't even have to be a sequel. Just make a game like that. That game was cool. Now, of course, we have other third-party games and indie games and so on. There's a lot of other games that I'm not speaking of, or games that I'm forgetting, like the rumored Fire Emblem game that apparently had a screenshot leaked, which click the top right corner for that. But overall, that is what I think Nintendo is going to showcase at the next Nintendo Direct, and that's when I think the next Nintendo Direct is going to be. So if you're still here after 18 minutes, I mean, well, I gotta cut down the in-betweens, but it's gonna be about 15 to 17 minutes. Here is another cookie, because you're the champ. You reached this far. Usually people don't watch this much of a video. And if not, I'll leave you with a question or two. When do you think the next Nintendo Direct is gonna be, and what games do you wanna see/predict will be at the next Nintendo Direct? Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below, and I will reply to those comments. And if not, on your way out, make sure you subscribe for more videos and also have that notification bell on. And if you want to support the channel in any other way, there is my Patreon and Twitter account in the pinned comment if you're interested in those. Oh, and also have this donut if you're still sticking around for me rambling. Thanks for watching, guys, and remember, stay safe, stay charged, and have a good one.